First Canto, 8th chapter, text number 40. Ime Janapada Shraddha Ime Janapada Shraddha Supakva Aushadi Virudaha Supakva Aushadi Virudaha Vanadri Nadi Udanvantaha Vanadri Nadi Udanvanto Hi Edante Tava Vikshitai Hi Edante Tava Vikshitai Ime Janapada Shraddha Supakvaushadi Virudaha Vanatri Nadi Udanvanto Hiedante Tava Vikshitai Ime Janapada Shraddha Supakvaushadi Virudaha Vanatri Nadi Udanvanto Hiedante Tava Vikshitai Ime Janapada Shraddha Supakvaushadi Virudaha Vanatri Nadi Udanvanto Hiedante Tava Vikshitai Ime Janapada Shraddha Supakvaushadi Virudaha Vanatri Nadi Udanvanto Hiedante Tava Vikshitai Ime Janapada Shraddha Vanatri Nadi Udanvanto all these Janapada, cities and towns, Shraddha, flourished, Supakva, matured, Aushadhi, herbs, Virudaha, vegetables, Vana, fruits, Adri, hills, Nadi, rivers, Udanvanta, seas, He, certainly, Edante, increasing, Tava, by you, Vikshita, seen. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swamy Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits. The rivers are flowing. The hills are full of minerals. And the oceans full of wealth. All this is due to your glancing over them. Please repeat. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits. The rivers are flowing. The hills are full of minerals. And the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. Purport. Human prosperity flourishes by natural gifts and not by gigantic industrial enterprises. The gigantic industrial enterprises are products of the godless civilization, and they cause the destruction of the noble aims of human life. The more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of the human being, the more there will be unrest and dissatisfaction of the people in general. Although a few only can live lavishly by exploitation, the natural gifts such as grains and vegetables, fruits, rivers, and hills of jewels and minerals, and the seas full of pearls are supplied by the order of the Supreme. And as he desires, material nature produces them in abundance or restricts them at times. The natural law is that the human being may take advantage of these godly gifts by nature and satisfactorily flourish on them without being captivated by the exploitative mode of lording it over material nature. The more we attempt to exploit material nature according to our whims of enjoyment, the more we shall become entrapped by the reactions of such exploitative attempts. If we have sufficient grains, fruits, vegetables, and herbs, then what is the necessity of running a slaughterhouse and killing poor animals? A man need not kill an animal if he has sufficient grains and vegetables to eat. The flow of river waters fertilizes the fields, and there is more than what we need. Minerals are products in the hills and the jewels in the ocean. If the human civilization has sufficient grains, minerals, jewels, water, milk, etc., then why should it hanker after terrible industrial enterprise at the cost of the labor of such unfortunate men? But all these natural gifts are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. What we need, therefore, is to be obedient to the laws of the Lord and achieve the perfection of human life by devotional service. The indications by Kunti Devi are just to the point. She desired that God's mercy be bestowed upon them so that natural prosperity be maintained by His grace. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We are reading the verses from the prayers of Queen Kunti. In the previous verse, if we read, we get the context of what Kunti Maharani is praying on. The previous verse translation is, O Gadadhara Krishna, our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your feet, and therefore it appears beautiful. But when you leave, it will no longer be so. And today's verse, all these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. Kunti Maharani is appreciating the Lord's presence in the previous verse for the Lord's marks on the tracts of land that he has gone over, and Kunti Maharani emphasizes on these marks being the auspicious signs for their victory. And if he has to go to Dwarka and they would miss all this, that was her mood. And then in this verse, she is pointing out on the glancing of the Lord. All this is and this is all due to your glancing over them. So she is pointing on the flourishment of the kingdom or the society. How well a society is flourishing is based on these aspects. Kunti Maharani is mentioning. What are they? Herbs and grains are in abundance, trees full of fruits, rivers are flowing, hills are full of minerals, and oceans full of wealth. So these are the 5 aspects or 6 aspects which define if the kingdom or a state or a country is flourishing. To the contrast, what our understanding or taking is in the contemporary world is very few aspects of these. Herbs and grains are in abundance, and we see the herbs and grains are considered not required as of now, because they have started sustaining on meat industries. And then trees full of fruits, and people used to sustain on fruits, and now people are very much interested in something like fast food, because fruits they're not so much interested. Rivers are flowing. Hardly we see any rivers properly flow at times, all the more at times in the summer. So all these aspects show the signs of actually a degraded society, but in the understanding of a contemporary modern world, we take the signs of something else to be the flourishing aspect. The hills are full of minerals and ocean full of wealth. So now also all around the world, people are exploiting the oceans by taking out all the oil resources, or the hills. Hills are made into fertile lands for growing tea, rubber, coffee. No proper vegetation. So idea of idea of seeing this world is more to be exploited than to be appreciated. So here we see in these words, in these explanations that Kunti gives of the flourishing situations of a city or a country, is never based on how tall a building is, how many hotels does it have, or how many brothels that it has, or how many casinos or bowling alleys or malls that it has. No, all of these are not mentioned. So the flourishment of the society is based on a very fine aspect. So this we should know. We should probably rethink and reiterate to in our minds that what is flourishment. All along the society has taken us a blue color or a flying color, showing that if a city or a country is to be said to be flourishing, it should be in terms of industry, it should be in terms of technology, it should be in terms of whatever. So proper right away says human prosperity flourishes by natural gifts and not by gigantic industrial enterprises. See the contrasting statement that gives. The gigantic industrial enterprises are products of godless civilization. when we see the society, what is the civilization, and if in the society or in the civilization that we come across in a daily life, if these aspects are not there, and it will gradually tend to godlessness, because Prabhupada, very nice, and they cause a destruction of the noble aims of human life. So all along, people never thought human life is something special that is meant, or it has a prerogative of realizing spiritual values. All along, people have been thinking that human life is superior to many other living entities in different species, so probably we can exploit them. That's how slaughterhouses are coming up. Why? They think, okay, humans are much more polished, and we can exploit. So that's not the understanding of human life. That's why Prabhupada very nicely coins this word, noble aims of human life. What is a noble aim? Which is very suitable. Noble cause, they say. So what is a noble aim of a human life is very nicely coined here. It is not for any gigantic industrial enterprise that human society has to come up with. There are so many universities, industries working on more of a technology, taxing their brains, but not taxing on the noble aims. So the idea that the current society is doing is for dogs. So we have to be clear, the more we are going to increase such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of humans' being, the more there will be unrest and dissatisfaction of the people in general. We should foresee, the more they want to exploit in these aspects of industrial enterprise or squeezing out the vital energy of you. What is this vital energy of a human being? Again, Prabhupada brings in, a vital energy is a specific discriminative power, or the energy that differentiates between body and soul. So aspects of understanding these vital things are the prerogative of human life. Again, if these aspects are not encashed, then they are again for dogs. No difference between animals and human beings. So we see this happening, when I was reading this, the more we go on increasing such troublesome industries to squeeze out the vital energy of human beings, the more there will be unrest and dissatisfaction of the people in general. Although a few only can live lavishly by exploitation. Recently, I heard an article, I was listening to it. It says the AI, the artificial intelligence that is up and coming, is having a very bad repercussion on the environmental things. It may appear a very simple thing and very easy going. All of a sudden you just open your mobile and say Chat GPT, and then you type your requirements, and within a fraction of seconds we see a series of answers to that. But actually what is going on behind them is mind-boggling. It requires a series of servers to be maintained, and that, to my surprise, it went on to kilometers, it seems. We have a small server room, maybe 10 by 10 or 20 by 20 within our premises. And just that server is for our internal requirements, whatever we may need. Imagine the servers or the extensive mechanisms that are required for coming up with this gigantic AI technology. it extends to kilometers, and they say it is producing so much heat, and to cool them up they are putting a lot of air conditioning mechanisms, and the whole area is hot. Shri Radha Govinda ki jai. So the whole area, and it happens to be in California state, and we all have been seeing, and it is continuing to be heard, that it's the whole state is under fire now. So they say this may be one of the reasons that the whole tract of land, even though next to the ocean, is unfertile, and the heat that is produced is no longer livable, and all the mechanisms that, or the colorful photos that we see is only for destruction. And we see now entire tract of land which is considered to be very advanced is now for dogs. So idea is, if you exploit any aspect which are to be meant for something noble aims, but otherwise you use it, these are the repercussions. So people will be more and more exploited, people will be seeing more and more dissatisfaction. So here you see here, the more there is unrest and dissatisfaction of the people in general, although a few only can live lavishly by exploitation. The natural gifts such as grains and vegetables, fruits, rivers, hills of jewels and minerals, and the seas full of pearls are supplied by the order of the Supreme, and as he desires, material nature produces them in abundance or restrict them at times. So imagine when there is a wildfire and there is a tornado and nobody can check, and only by Lord's mercy, causeless mercy, if the rain comes, it can be come out. It can they can oversee the situation. The whole country, I was just listening by somebody else saying this. They say different parts of the country may be extended twice or thrice in the area of land that US is spread across. Some parts it is raining, some parts it is snowing, and some parts it is on fire, and it's so hot. Why there is so disparity in the a different, although it may not have extended so much. So all this is because there is no noble aim of human life being perceived there. It is all centered around sense gratification, and they have to see all this. On the other side, Prabhupada gives, if Kunti Maharani is saying, this indicates, so what we need therefore is to be obedient to the laws of the Lord and achieve the perfection of human life by devotional service. The indications by Kunti Devi are just to the point. She desires that God's mercy be bestowed upon them so that natural prosperity to be maintained by His grace. Unless otherwise, natural prosperity cannot happen unless one follows the path jotted down by great acharyas and Lord Himself in the scriptures. So the primary aspect of devotional service is the missing point in the whole society. So idea is, how these natural things are coming is only by the mercy of the Lord. Either Lord wants to flourish or He wants to restrict. It is all on His mercy. It will be based more or less based on how well the society people convey or abide by the laws of Lord. One more very interesting aspect that we can try and understand from this verse is, having said all this flourishing of the society, natural things come by mercy of the Lord, and this is all due to your glancing over them. So Kunti Maharani is saying, All this is because of your glancing over them. So if Krishna glances, okay, then it is a flourishing. If Krishna's name is heard, that place is flourishing. So bring in Krishna is the aspect. How to bring in is very easily brought in this Kali Yuga by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, just by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Immediately Lord's aspect, Lord's divine intervention comes in, and beautiful, flourishing aspects we can see in our life. So way back when I was quite young, I had gone to Tirumala for darshan. And then in the hotel that we stayed, there was a restaurant, and then we walking down, I saw one, a small court. All the more people ask, soon after the darshan is over, you're happy having witnessed the Lord, and then so there were a couple of calls, and then somebody was saying, oh, did you get darshan? Yes, we got darshan with this, this. And then in the same context, I saw this quote, very nicely coined. It says, it is not that you get darshan, it is he gives darshan. I was like, what? Again I read, it is not that you get darshan, it is he gives darshan. So there is a lot of difference that made into my, this is still in my view. I can still visualize that board. That had a great impression on me. I was not then a Krishna conscious, but it was in my mind. So all the time we will be thinking, oh, we got darshan. It is we in the center. But the point that they made is, Lord, he is the one who gives darshan. So probably we should ask, did Lord give darshan? Whenever we ask somebody, did you get darshan? That's not the norm. Probably we should ask, did Lord give the darshan? So it is his glance, his mercy that should flow on to us. We are not the center. So idea is, all the more, a couple of months or 1.5 months back, Radha Govinda Moolavar Vigrahas came here. So all the time we used to think, whenever I used to sing, during the noon, Rajbhog Aarti, and we used to sit and sing, and as soon as everybody stands, we used to not able to see the Lord. And then we used to sing because a lot of people around, and then that's it. Now when I sit and when we sing, we still can see the Lord. So it makes us, even though it is a small difference, but it's a big impression that makes. Okay, Lord is seeing us. It's not that we are able to see Lord. So the impression is, sometimes in the mind we come across, okay, we want to come for Mangalarti, have darshan of the Lord. Again I use the word, have darshan of the Lord. Make us visible to the Lord. So the norm is so that it is we having the darshan. No, his glance falling on us is the point. That very nicely Kunti Maharani is expressing this. All this is due to your glancing over them. So when Lord glances on us, then we are safe. Then our activities are in line, not the other way. Okay, we somehow or other try and get something done, and then we take the credit. No, it's the other way. Kunti Maharani is very cautiously coining these words so that we get to learn from these wonderful examples. Yeah. So one more aspect, I would have probably, perhaps most of you would have heard this word as shloka. Mayadhakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. So mayadhakshena prakriti. So we just focus on the word mayadhakshena, adhakshena, right? On his order, everything goes well. Prakriti. Mayadhakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. Chara acharam. Moving or non-moving, everything is on his will, on his order. So, today when I was listening to this, Mayad Akshena, Adhyakshena, Aksha is there. Aksha means what? Eyes. So, by just Lord's eyes, Lord's eyes, if somebody is revealed, somebody comes in front of him, then it becomes divine. Mayad Akshena. So, Lord actually with his eyes, he sees the material nature. And then all the living entities agitated and then comes out. So, there are intricacies like this. When we read scriptures nicely, we get to understand how this whole material world has manifested. Mayad Akshena. By Lord's glance, it has manifested. So, Lord glance is so divine that whatever he wants to get it done, he'll get it done. So, it is our duty so that we fall in line with his instructions and then we be blessed by his glance. So, this is a very interesting verse. Whenever we come in front of Lord, we can see how entire thing gets flourished. We can aspire for these aspects, that in our life also there may be good flourishing devotional service by the divine vision that we can get from the Lord. So this is a very nice verse that Kunti is wanting all of us to see how this world works and depend on his mercy. So I stop here if you have any questions.